And we're a couple of hours away from the 6th edition of Imbowe Marathon. Tell you what, this is Eswatini TV, and this is the Thursday edition of Temidlalo. The picture says it all. The country is heading for the biggest marathon on the African continent, probably one of the biggest. If I'm talking about athletes as far as from Kenya have landed in the kingdom for the occasion. So this is a moment where we take the appreciation and say we're entering the weekend on a high note. Eswatini TV, as one way of meeting your point of view need, we're just ushering you leading to the competition, and you'll be able to catch live the event on Sunday in the early hours of Sunday morning. From at least 5 in the morning will be live. So Fabrice Msonera, your host. I'll be joined by, in the studio, different guests from the Eswatini National Provident Fund, including the Chief Executive Officer Futhi Tembe and the delegation that she is with, just to give us a picture of what can we expect on Sunday as they're entering into the 6th edition of the marathon. Otherwise, other topics will include the tragic event that took place on Saturday as we lost the second cyclist in a year, that is Dr. Marvin Masango, who passed away this past weekend. So there was a memorial service earlier on at Potterswiz in Babane, where just members of the public, rather cyclists, gathered just to celebrate his life. So we'll talk about that and what it means for the cycling industry. Otherwise, Swimming Association now have got new leadership after a couple of days or rather months without anyone taking leadership calls at the Eswatini Swimming Association. So Mr. Pedro Nunes is the new executive director, or rather chief executive officer of the Eswatini Swimming Association. So all is going to be live here on Eswatini TV on your edition of Temidlalo. Just know that we do bring you this show courtesy of Eswatini TV, partnership with the title sponsor, KFC Eswatini. You as a viewer, at some point you'll be given a chance to be part of the conversation, but the main challenge, the main idea, it's what we're here for today, the Imbowe Marathon. So you can call in. Who knows, there could be prizes out there to be won and be part of the Sunday edition, where we can't wait what Eswatini have cooked. In the company of the Chief Executive Officer, Futhi Tembe from Eswatini National Provident Fund, and one of the member of her delegation, that is Macman Masharela, in the studio just to talk about the event. What can you expect on Sunday? Where are they in terms of preparations? Siyavusela mphatsi namuhla ehlelweni.
Siyavusela bhuti.
Siyavusela mphatsi. Masharela, today with the CEO, so it means now, the event is closer. We've been talking in the absence of this, but now in the presence of the CEO, it means the event is getting closer, and you haven't had enough sleep so far. Kambanjani?
It tells you, Fabrice, could see things are getting serious now. And Jacob Singh CEO Gushogona could see we're just counting a few hours before singene stale Imbowe Marathon. Lebe solo si beginning mehle abovuka kakhulu. Now we say ikona on the 6th of October. Wow,
days are nearing. We're talking about hours. Ma'am, let's just talk about the event, because yes, we'll get into the logistics of Sunday, where are we, but when you talk about the event itself, the image that it has out there, the legacy and everything, what can you say in few words about Imbowe Marathon as the person leading the role of the Eswatini National Provident Fund?
All right, thank you so much, Fabrice. Ngicabanga ukuthi sonke sesiyathi Fabrice ukuthi Imbowe Marathon is now an international marathon. Uma sibuka yathuma icala 2016 yacala vele ngelisasasa, but kusho nje ukuthi inyalo lisasasa selisetulu kakhulu njengoba lababhalisile kugijima nje lonyaka. There are more than 5,000 with more than 1,500 international runners. Laqhamuka emaveni lahlukene kufaka South Africa, Zimbabwe, Australia, Ethiopia, Kenya. So i-objective ya Imbowe Marathon, uma singathi sibuke emuva ukuthi sidlelani for ngenisa icalelani, sabuka ukuthi sisikhwama seMaswati. So akungabi ukuthi nje eMaswati ethu, ema-members ethu, it's all about giving them returns, but sithi manje, how can we make them ukuthi babe physically fit? So Imbowe Marathon is basically encouraging ukuthi eMaswati abe fit. Number one. Number two, it is all about inclusivity in terms of sesifaka ekhathi disabled plus old kule 3.3. Yes.
But I think for the couple of days we've been talking about preparations that comes into the Imbowe Marathon. But I think since the launch back in, was it June and end of May, somewhere there?
It was in June.
Yeah, it was in June, yes. Yeah. You've talked about meeting the target and the numbers that you had told yourself that you want to reach. And I think now you've went above what you expected on the day. Kusho kuthini kini as ANPF?
Obviously Fabrice kungaba nje kubonga eMaswatini ngoba ngebengeke siwende lo msebenzi lona without isupport yawo eMaswati, without isupport yama stakeholders, because maningi ama stakeholders sesebenza nawo kulungisela lo msebenzi lomkhulu lona wengwenyama. Tinombolo ke vele sistema sibuka Fabrice for the first time esishito ukuthi this year sasheshe saphetha tikhala lapha ke kubo ma 21 kilometers bo 10 kilometers even the 42 kilometers amangala ukuthi nalo sasavele njengoba asho CEO lapha ukuthi lisetulu kakhulu. Lokho kuyasitshela ke ukuthi le marathon lena sezingeni lemhlaba izinga liphakeme kakhulu. Uma sibona nje na CEO uyasho ukuthi tinombolo etingaka over 1500 bantu labaqhamuka from other countries. It tells you ukuthi this is a marathon very soon letawuba ingenile mbamba esithombeni semhlaba. We'll be seeing people coming from all walks of life beta batawungena Imbowe marathon. So siyajabula kakhulu sidlandongeni siphinze futhi sijabule kakhulu sisive seMaswati ngoba lokho kusho ukuthi nelevel laseSwatini liyangena emaphini ladiwe ukuthi kunemidlalo lomkhulu lowenteka kweSwatini lapho khona kungangenele eMaswati kuphela kepha wonke umhlaba njengoba sesicale nje kubona they are already landing in the country kusipata ukujima Imbowe marathon.
Now, the continent of Africa is talking about the biggest race, or rather the biggest marathon on the African continent. That is the Imbowe Marathon. Tell you what, for the last 6th edition, personally, I've been privileged to be part of those events, doing what I do. And then to tell you also, as Eswatini TV, we've ensured that we bring you closely every year at this event. Now, ma'am, let's just talk about this year, because now I understand there are a few changes in terms of logistics that you've made to accustom in terms of the runners on the day, to ensure that also the safety logistics are ensured. Tell us about those few changes, some of the things that we can expect on Sunday.
All right, thank you, Fabrice. Shothi kulomnyaka ngingasho nje ukuthi Imbowe marathon, what we've tried ku number 1 short nisha letikhathi between the different races. Uma sibuka i42 itocala nga 5:30 ilandzelwe yi21 leto ngabo 6 then i10 itenga 6:15 with the 3.3 6:30 so sibese siphinze siyabuka ukuthi ngabe yini lokushintshile. We've tried to beef up more security in terms of traffic policemen ukuthi la mgwaqweni bahlale bakhona kugatsa ukuthi ema runners ethu atfola the attention. We've also beefed up in terms of the water points ukuthi ema runners angagijimi sigabale sithe akatholi kuba hydrated. And also, which is something that we always do, but it's Pinzasa Piva up in Zabayama paramedics, Nabo stripping, Gutema runners, Atuma Kichima Kanze Gutivele, they are well prepared, Fagenema strips, yes.
Beautiful stuff. If you just join us, it's your Thursday edition of Temidlalo, talking about the biggest event on the African continent, in the kingdom, and I'm sure that one of you could be doing it casually, or you belong to a club. Don't miss Sunday. Masalela, the bigger picture now comes into where are we standing? Have we all managed to get our goodie bags, or are we still waiting for numbers to collect on the last day? But so far, how many people have actually, can you give us an idea? I know that you don't have specific numbers, but how many people have already collected? But how many people have collected their goodie bags?
Fabrice, standard si settle kakhulu this year. Si phakamisile impela eMaswati they should be ready. Everyone elotongena Imbowe marathon kufuna si abe ready ukuthi abone standard siphakeme indlela lesimanga lapha ke aSomhlolo stadium. Obviously masikhuluma ke ngetikipa sicalile ukuthi si distribute ngamhla ka 30 besicala lokusho ukuthi nje manje lokungibuta Fabrice asho siso semva kakhulu. Emhla ka 30 beke sicala Happy Valley Hotel beta batilanza Fabrice, and if I can tell you now, would say almost onke emaswati sikahlanzethu imvotawu labasele sengilama internationals because they are still coming from their various countries. So emaswati lamaningi ngasho nje nyalo ukuthi about more than 85% sebawalanzile ama t-shirts abo. Kepha ke ngumsebenzi osachubeka lona Fabrice up until Saturday nje sizabe sikhona lapha libandla litimisele kakhulu lapha uyabona ukuthi yonke into ihleleke kahle. Sitawuhlala ke Saturday up until kuze kushaye 10 ebusuku. Uma ngabe nje awalanzi imvo takho siyacela emaswatini labhalisele imbo ye-marathon ukuthi into esiciniseko ukuthi ayafika lapha eHappy Valley Hotel ngalo mgcibelo siyavala nga10. Kepha onke lamalanga angakafika umgcibelo lusho nje kusasa ngoba kuselinye evile langa singafiki kumgcibelo lapho ke Fabrice siyawuvala nga7 entsambama. Ngaleli sonto ke Fabrice uma ngabe uhlulekile setiyabona khona stadium asathi ukuthi ugijima ngani phela because kuze ukuthi ukhona egijima kufuna ukuthi ube ne race number.
Mahlale maybe ngisakhuluma nawe kancane nje kuva ukuthi simo selithu siyasatini on the day ukuthi sitabe senjani ngoba ngeke ngahlola ngathi kusasa Friday 20 ngathi ke ngelisonto ukuthi sime kanjani.
Sidlulile Fabrice awu impela lilanga liyabe liphumele lapha lisho sikabe kuphumelelanga ingonyama kuphindze futhi kuphumelelanga elolwadiko Fabrice abethe nje ba ready ukuthi lapha onke motor points bawulandzela kahle ukuthi kusakhona ema-runners ethu ukuthi abe hydrated ngoba ukhona Malagwane labanye basho bathi hey atle marathon lapha eSwatini hayi cha imnanzi kona because it gives you the challenge mawugijima lapha kuMalagwane. Kepha lo mcoka ukuthi come prepared ube hydrated singakutholi ukuthi siyagculeka lapha kanzi bota ukhona ukuthi uyishaye uphinze ubuye kuba bota utimisela uphinze futhi unansila imali leswa provider ko onke lama water points.
Ma'am, in terms of organizing the event, yes, you're the title, should I say, title main holders of the event, but lo msebenzi aniwende notvana unobambisene na tinye tinkampani ngabe tidlale kanganani inzima kwensureisha ukuthi lo msebenzi ube effective.
Thank you for the question, Fabrice. Yati ezisihleli ngicabanga kona nje ukuthi vele bengingathanza ukuthi ngingaphumi ngibonge leto tinkampani leti sibambisile because tisibambise kakhulu. Ngingawuphendvula umbuto wakho, I would really like to list the companies lengiwabongako. Kuna Standard Bank lo nguye key sponsor. Then kube nabo Old Mutual, bo Kellogg's, bo Ilovo, bo IDCE, bo Lactis.
Yes, Lactis.
So kubabonga nje ukuthi naku basibambisile na next year na this year na next year imbube ikhona singajabula kakhulu ukuthi baphinze bajike sandle sivivanene. Inzima laba idlalile singasho ukuthi in as much as we are the main sponsors of the event but uma sibuka nje boma water points onke athethwe ngilama companies lesisebenza nawo la kaNgwane uma sibuka lama t-shirts labafake imali tiye towards buying of the t-shirts for the race. So leli zinga likhona but having said that singatfokota ukuthi more companies next year aphinze asibambise njengoba sisho ukuthi leli zinga le marathon selikhulu kakhulu. So the more players and the better imbube ingaba ngakhona.
Oof, we can't wait. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, let's talk about the route because at some point I used to think the information that I have, not only for marathons, but also for cycling. But on the day, because and then on the day when personally as a journalist and few cyclists or few runners, wrong. Let's take a look at the route. So that maybe sihambe nayo in terms of where it starts, how we move, because that's the picture we want, and of course sihamba ngale 42. Let's take a look at from the starting point. Now this is the way it starts. Can you take us through?
Well, that's a very beautiful question, Fabrice. Kule route siyathi ukuthi ayiforma categories. Sine 42 kilometers, sibe 21 kilometers, sibe 10 kilometers, bese sekuba na 3.3 kilometers. Onke lama marathons njengoba sibona nje lapha ke kwena mbukeli aqala khona kaSomhlolo Stadium onke lama marathons lokusho ukuthi noma ngabe ugijima i42 noma ngabe ugijima i21 noma ngabe ugijima i10 noma ngabe ugijima i3.3 lokhu kahle ke this year ukuthi abatabe bakhona bafana bembube lapha lokusho ukuthi ma forces maphoyisa ngoba siyabona labanye bahle balahleka in terms of ama signage kutabe kukahle ke Fabrice this year stabe sikhona ukuthi director uma isuka ke 42 kilometers ke iyasuka ke iyahamba ke ibheka uma ubuka nje lapha bathi kusemashibhini onke shose le 42 kilometers nayo i21 kilometers nale 10 kilometers onke makasuka nje ahamba abhiye ngasemashibhini uma undla emashibhini iyona i10 kilometers ifike jike emlaladini ngoba imfishane yona kepha ke i21 42 kuyachubeka ke lapho ke Fabrice
asichubeke sihambe ne42 kwanyalo ngoba le aro ngathi sikhombisa le42 yes
ya mana nguboni kahle lomgwaco lapha Fabrice
ngathi siyanyuka la senyuka Malagwane la
yes ngibase ngiyafisa sikophisa kuMalagwane
ya ngasinyuka Malagwane
ya mase kuMalagwane ke say 42 kilometers ke lo si 21 kilometers seyijikile ke yona 42 kilometers siyanyuka kuMalagwane
okay umncisi mahlela mzola mhlambe kuze uthi umbukele who happens to be the runner on the day singamlahle nasuka Somhlolo sehlala technical center lobamba we pass under the bridge yes and then asasambe nasichubeka under the bridge bese siya kuphi
yes under sehla technical center kalobamba under the bridge
yes
sihambe sishone emashibhini yes
bese sinyuka kuphi
behind the gables
behind the gables
bese sesiphuma eCorner Plaza yes
awushaya kahle
umphathi ngathi lo mkhwaqwe wathi kuwencathini okay umphathi asichubeke nasinyuka Corner Plaza sesifika kuphi nyana sesithatha Malagwane
so suka Corner Plaza so yangena ke nyalo highway
okay
go straight Malagwane uya up Malagwane ufike eMbabane ujike uma wehle kubo Mountain Inn
okay
uyibambe so yibamba PSPF
okay
bese soyanyuka phinze so wehla kuMalagwane so uthatha le route yabo PSPF letophinze ifake
selapho
shali seklase PSPF bese siyajika
silapho ku Mountain Inn ngathi uyehla industrial site eMbabane wengce Tinkundla unyuke plus Tinkundla uthathe high ema passportini Ministry of Home Affairs then
bese so yenyuka ke so phinze so yehla ke
Malagwane by the police station yes then you when you go down Malagwane do you take straight again technical center noma off rampa eMvujini yes off rampa eMvujini
yes bese singena eMvujini
then sichamuka Somhlolo
sesichamukela kubo Happy Valley siyangena ka Somhlolo
all right. This is a good discussion, ma'am, because Gyamsit umbukele ekhaya ukuthi on the day when he takes on the route, it's going to be, effective and easier for him. Now, let's talk about the breakdown on the day because yes, 5:30 giyaqalwa, but then after the rest, then do we have any activities prepared for the runners on the day or for anyone who wants to be part of the activities?
Okay, on the day after. Ema-runners ethu sabuyile stadium kwekucala nje ukuthi batothola ama-medals abo phela ngoba siyathi ukuthi labagijimako bagijimela ukuthi bathole ukuthi umhlomelo labatokutshengisa emakhaya so they come back bathole ama-medals abo bathi ngekuthola ama-medals abo then they get the refreshments labo basidonatele wona
okay
then uma sekuphele konke we then expect ukuthi the invited guests my invited guests sethu ikufaka ekhathi boma diplomatic corps ifaka phakathi sigodlo their majesties uma sekubafikile ke bese kutobe sekuba nema aerobics where his majesty will be part of the aerobics emihleni ke sibonile ukuthi kuvame ukuthatha 45 to an hour whereby onke emaswati ke lapho sashukumisa umtimba kutothuma kuphela ke bese kuba kuma prizes whereby labatobe bahlomeliswa from the 10th position to 4th position and then lokuvame kuba mnanzi kakhulu ngu-first to third position lapho bahlomeliswa ngu-His Majesty inkosi licubulayo.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Now, if you at home, you're wondering what's happening, we are in full swing, and we're talking about the 6th edition of the Imbowe Marathon. But now, as a runner, before I go to you, Mahlale, as a runner or as an athlete, anyone who is wondering, do you have tips? How do I behave? How do I treat myself leading to the race? Now, this is a guide I will take you through. It's going to be shortly on the screen. You and I, you can even go through it wherever you are at home. It helps you as an athlete or as a runner as you go to the always have breakfast. Number one, it means the breakfast nangabe suka nga 5:30. Then when do I get time to have breakfast? But you can have it at 3 in the morning. And how heavy should it be? Drink fluid before, during, and after training. Those are some of the water points we should attend them like you. Yeah, carbs are your good friend. Number 3, okay, I like that. It's some of the rules. Alcohol is not so good. Okay, I don't like the so, which means it's supposed to be not good at all. Now it is so, I can have some, but I don't think I should on the day. Let's not have alcohol. Train high, race high, which means for the couple of weeks prior to the race, maybe you should have worked on your intensity and other, just building up to the main event. That's rule number 5. My friend, I'm going to go on the day in minute now. Recovery is all about timing. Timing means you pace yourself. If maybe for the first 12 kilometers you're on a speed, time yourself to that some point to say, Malagwane, when I go up, how do I relax to ensure that I keep time? Sometimes a little bit of salt can be handy. Oof, okay, that's the first. I don't know if you should carry it or you find it at the water point. Refrain from unplanned treats. Okay, we're being warned. That's number 8. Let's go to number 9, the magic formula. Low fat, moderate protein, high carb, perfect runners diet, which means, hey, Gulamaranga, let's make sure that we are following the proper diet before we go to the race. Let's look at this. Win the race. When you go there, mindset, tell yourself that you're going to win the race. Mahlale, I think that's the mindset. Yeah. From teacher, I would say you have to win the race.
Yeah, thank you, Fabrice. It's the 10 Commandments indeed. But before maybe I respond to the 10 Commandments, may I emphasize ukuthi kulabo labangazange bagijima le race last year.
Yes.
Le routing vile nje uthi mawusuka uphuma lapha e-technical center kwakwenteka previously lo but nyalo seyashintsha le route so hamba anti clockwise lo masuka nje lapha ka Somhlolo Stadium siphuma sishaye le traffic circle sibheke emashipini onke lama races 42 21 ne 10 ukwahleke Fabrice bokhona wena last year masigijima le race. And then now coming to lama commandments, indeed everyone wants to be a winner. Teenagers, it's lama commandments lawa, it should be your daily life. Kungabi ukuthi ukwenda nyalo because sekusonzele i-race. Ushito CEO lapha ukuthi the motive or the objective behind the race lena ukuthi emaswati especially emalunga edlandongeni kufanele ukuthi athi vocavoce ahlale abe healthy so that mase kufesi khase ukuthi udle lidlandongeni lakho ulidle ube uphilile physically mentally so naloku nawo lesikhuza kutako nje maswatini ukuthi akungagcini nje only on this race kepha akube i-daily life yethu lokho ukuthi sihlale sivocavoca every day after the race uma ngabe akhona nema races lamancane lasakhona even eSwatini participate there so that come Imbowe Marathon you are physically fit, you are mentally healthy, also contribute lapha ubujabulile wathi ukuthi mawudla imali yakho angeke usizobhadala imikhuhlane naloko nalokwa you will do something tangible.
So I think khona la hluphe khona kancane Mahlalela, I'm confusing kancane. Uthi Mahlalela as a runner on the day singayibuta ukuthi hayimani Mahlalela sesibuyele emuva kancane uthi na uphuma Somhlolo sesendela ukuthi phela umgwaqo sesiyabuka nje enqomveni we're trying to draw it the traffic cycle khuluma ukuthi nangu Somhlolo nangu Parliament you mean the circle la mkhathini so anti clockwise asayela sese
awusabheki ushone endasi
technical center
yes but onke abheka le emashipini
okay uma ukhumbula emashipini
Okay, the
Shona,
direction, yeah.
yes.
No, it makes sense now. Beautiful stuff.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
You want-
asiqhubekeni bengisasho so that utokhona ukuthi utokhumbula Fabrice ukuthi sibese sithi utobe uyakhona kuphuma kulomgwaqo utokholela ekhona plaza.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, we've got two questions for you, ma'am, before I let you go. One, are you also going to be part of the marathon on Sunday? I know being the organizer sometimes cuts us from it, but can we see you a part of the marathon athletes on the day? Two, the image you want this race to leave behind. I mean, you've got guests all the way from Kenya, Australia. What image do you want Sunday's race to leave behind for Lilian Vungeni and the kingdom at large?
Thank you so much. Besingafisa kakhulu ukuthi singaba part of the race. But njengoba sadi ukuthi wonke umcimbi utsinga laba ulungiselako. So on the day we want, especially staff nje sase ENPF listening, ngeke sikhone kungenela so that sitosala ngemuva kusilaba winako bakhone ukuthi Khanza 40 sezingeni. Then in terms of kuthi ngabe sifisa ukuthi le image, it's an image for Swaziland. Ngihlala ngisho ukuthi sima company kangwane, we are here for the country. So sifuna image lenhle for the kingdom of Eswatini. Kuthatha Eswatini simbeke emephini yeah the world. So we are hoping that more people will see Eswatini for purposes of tourism.
Okay.
Kuthi bese kubringeka more tourists in the country. Yes.
All right. Mahlele, Siyaham, I know on Sunday probably you have the gun for the 42 kilometers. A message to all the athletes on the day and those who will be there occasionally for fun and anything.
Sesiredi ukuthi siyojabula nemaswati lapha. We are going to be so much excited on the day. It's not just a day of a marathon kuse so buka nje marathon kuphela kepha we'll also have other activities including aerobics lesitoba nawo lapha. We are inviting onke emaswati ukuthi akete aye kaSomhlolo noma ngabe awugijimile marathon lokuthi nje kuyabe liphumile ilanga lapha uhambe uyobukela ube a spectator kuyawusijabulisa kakhulu lokho. But what is important Fabrice ukuthi on the 6th of October kawuthi nga 4 ekseni siyawuvala lapha ke Woodlands nase nalobamba se traffic circles. Woodlands traffic circle ngakalobamba kuthiwa kusesihlahleni.
Okay.
Umbutho wembube uyawuvala lapho.
Now uthini nivala umgwaqo ukuthi imoto yenqaqo.
Yes.
Okay.
Uyavala umgwaqo lapho Fabrice. Lokusho ukuthi kwasha 4 makafiki e-stadium sekutawufuna ukuthi uma uta e-stadium usebenzise le highway to access stadium. So siyacela ukuthi emaswati lafuna kuta e-stadium awuve lo mlayedo loyo usheshe ufike e-stadium angakashayi 4 if you want to use that route. The reason isikwenda lokho is because ushito CEO lapha njengoba sigijima nje naye CEO solakalali Fabrice to make sure ukuthi all things are in order. Ushito ukuthi we are now maintaining the world standard because say race lena liyatiwa ngu-World Athletics. So ke basiniketile lemigomo nembanzela ukuthi in order ukuthi la runners makagijima angaphambane netimoto kube nebungoti lapho ukuthi sebangalimala nekulimala vele kufanele ukuthi sivaye lapho Fabrice but awugijima baye baphelile. So emaswati leta kwe stadium akade singa 4 Woodlands traffic circle lobamba traffic circle umgwaqo dobuvaliwe.
Ngisho ngayi protocol ukuthi on behalf of ENPF but we can never be on behalf of ENPF so khona umphathi wakho phela so ngacoshwa kusasa. Now ma'am, let's leave but a message coming from ENPF to Emaswati, to the entire kingdom, to the entire African continent and to the world at large, because not only those who can't attend the event, they'll be able to see the event through Eswatini TV, who has a YouTube page, so they can be part of that race at any place in the world. So a message coming from the main organizers, which is ANPF.
Thank you so much, Fabrice. I think first of all, kumema nje sive sonke both lakangwane na coming from outside the country ukuthi asingasaleli emuva njengoba mahlalela sashito ukuthi uma ngabe akwajoyini ukuthi utogijima ama-aerobics akhona and also inviting ukuthi na October next year uyeda and kakhulu-ke umlayeto emaswatini laba bhalisele kugijima especially 42 kuthi abagijime bawine i-race ngoba first Swazi both male and female kuthi babe bo number 10 but if babe first Swazi they will get prizes to the value of 35,000
Okay.
female 35,000 male
Okay.
so kuba khutsata nje ukuthi abatimisele kakhulu and ikutimisela kakhulu ke bangaze babe position 1 so that batotfola double the price
70,000.
Yes.
So you can walk away with 70K, 70,000 in Malangin. I don't know how much I walk away since I'll be in the studio, but at some point, somehow, the world will be expecting that we do deliver and we bring the best race in the region, on the continent, and the entire world will be with us. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being in the studio. We cannot wait for Sunday, and after Sunday, of course, we get your response on how the members of the public and the entire world did respond. Matala, thank you very much. We'll keep in touch and ensure that Eswatini, they do attend in their numbers. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. 6th edition. Tell you what, I've been here for 5 editions and it is mind-blowing. This is the rest. Now, a short break when we go to a break. Like I said earlier on, there was a memorial service for a cyclist, that is Dr. Marvin Masango, who passed away tragically this past weekend on his bike. So a memorial service was held to ensure that they just celebrate his life. But few speeches there and there, took place, and people described him as someone who took the sport to the next level. Let's just listen and take a look at what unfolded earlier on during the memorial service.
journey is eternal. We will love you always. We are sad, Masango family, that you gave us an able, healthy, lively man. But all we can give you back is a portrait. But the portrait is our hearts. We loved him so much. Chichi will love you, Father. Remember that even as we grow old. He touched all our lives as we cycled. And maybe one final act, can we also ask the cyclists that are on the floor to just love and peace? Your journey on earth has ended, but your heavenly ride has just begun. May God bless you.
Grateful my brother is here. All I'm going to say today is to all of us in this room, let's get comfort from the Lord. If you read Psalms 34, verse 18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And I'll also say my special condolences goes to Dr. Masango's family, to the scientist, and to all of us who are here. We are grateful for his life because he has touched, he got the opportunity to touch each and every one of us in a very special way.
Around 2018, Marvin took up cycling as a hobby and enjoyed it so much that it became his favorite sport, dethroning the famous Manchester United from the center of his heart. He started off with a mountain bike before graduating to an expensive professional carbon Merida bike.
I want to like Manchester City. It's the bad relative of Manchester United. I can't like it, especially Haaland. He's a very bad person. This is not Manchester United. What I've heard. Yeah, so that's my dad.
Marvin was such a person who wanted to bring peace in the family. Whenever there were quarrels in the family, as time goes on, people begin to have different characters and ideas about how to live. Marvin would want to consider all facts carefully before he could make decisions.
Dr. Masango was dedicated, hardworking, and always willing to lend a helping hand. He made an impact in his work that will be felt for years to come.
Kwekucala nje kungaba kuveta ukuthi nawo ukucala umnyaka siye sibe nayo i-road safety awareness ride lapho lesihamba khona sikhombisa ukuthi sonke siyawusebenzisa umgwaco, asibonelelane, asiniketane amathuba, asihloniphane emgacweni. Kwekucala lokho lesikwendako njengenhlangano yekushofa amabhayisikili eSwatini. Lokunye lokulandzelako siye sikhulumisane ne-road safety council ngoba ngiyo lesiniketa i-permission yokusebenzisa imigwaco. Ngiyethemba nanyalo lokuchubeka embili sisata ukuhlala phansi sikhulume sibonisane kuze bonke basebenzisi bemigwaco babe ngilabaphephile kulesikhathi lesikiso.
Now, the cycling fraternity is still, of course, in shock after what happened this past weekend when he woke up from his house, decided to say, you know what, today I want to do the usual routine and exercise. That is Dr. Marvin Masango, who is well known as one of the best cyclists under the MTN Kemani Cycling Club. And he's played a huge role, not only on behalf of the club, but cyclists and other clubs that he's been with, including the Forever Cycling Club, to ensure that he gets that impact and ensures that everyone gets to exercise. Now, a lot of things were said during the memorial service to the moment he left Zimbabwe. his home country of origin to the moment he landed in the Kingdom of Eswatini. That was back in 2009. Worked for different organization under the Ministry of Health, of course, Good Shepherd. Also graduating in different professions. Latest one being public health, and I think apparently at some point the message was shared that he was part of the team that was working on some of the logistics to ensure that the Kingdom of Eswatini keeps on fighting issues of HIV and reach the Agenda 2060 as a free generation without HIV in the Kingdom of Eswatini. So we're talking about someone who was a sports personnel. We're talking about someone who was a health also fighter in terms of ensuring that we as a country, we fight some of the biggest pandemic that are affecting us as a country. But we can also not forget to mention that there is a concern in terms of what's happening in the cycling industry, because we're talking about now a second member of the cycling leaving us this year. Remember earlier on this year we had Mrs. Motso also, who passed away in an incident where she was on the road cycling. Now we have another one. So it's getting to be a concern rather, where members of the public have now to ensure that we work closely with motorists and we use the road in a perfect way to ensure that we both benefit without lives being lost. This also should come as an alarming factor to the Eswatini Cycling Association, Eswatini Athletic Association, because athletes also do use the roads. Eswatini Motorsports Federation, because they do use the roads. So any activity or any sporting activities that is required to use the public roads, we are in a serious concern because we are losing members of the public because of such concerns. Now, a lot is being said about what you can do in the next days, but let's hope that we work on fighting this issue. Otherwise, this was the memorial service. He's going to be laid to rest in his hometown in Kutu, that is in the Republic of Zimbabwe. So friends, different doctors, those who were in the same profession as him, are just speaking about his life and other things he has done to ensure that the fraternity in the kingdom is on another rise. Now, moving on, I want us to talk about another sporting code that you were concerned for some time now. When you talk about a concern, we're talking about the Eswatini Swimming Association. The Eswatini Swimming Association, at some point, we're asking if they are coming or if they are moving behind, if they are going forward. They held their annual general meeting where the topic on the agenda, or the topic on the table, was the issue of the executive, where they had to elect a new president, someone who's going to be in charge for the next 4-year calendar. Now, part of the people who are running for office, we're talking about former President Bheka Ncumalo, we're talking about also Herman Jere, who recently was in the office, and also we're talking about Mr. Pedro Nunes. So eventually he walked away as the eventual winner of the elections, that is Pedro Nunes, and we're talking about him now getting away with 13 votes, and then there's Bheka Ncumalo rather, and there is also Herman, and also other members of the executive who voted. But part of the things that the association wants actually to work on moving forward for the next 4 years is to ensure that there is development. We're talking about grassroots program that they should be installed. We should have more clubs in the region. We should also be able to compete internationally. And podium finish is one area of concern. Podium finish because we still don't have a medal from the Olympics on Commonwealth. Now let's listen to some of the speeches, including himself, the newly elected Eswatini Swimming Association president. That is Mr. Pedro Nunes. What does he want to offer for the association?
My question is, as Yoga does as well, and that is one of our governing bodies, we do not know some of the people that have been nominated, and I personally feel that I would like to know the history and the sporting influence that the people have, that the nominees are, that we are not aware of, that is in the Constitution.
Correct. We had stated that we did not receive a brief history when the nomination list was sent out, and as per the Constitution, how do we vote if we don't know who our members, it's a brief bio on each of our members for voting purposes.
Let me hear from, maybe we can decide this by voting on the people that are here to vote and representing the clubs. Can we resolve that issue on that, or on this issue? Whereby we'll be making a voting whether today can you go on to vote based on the fact that we'll be reading the brief history today.
We have enough time. We don't have enough time for that. And I know that you need to leave at 1.
If there's an issue pertaining anything that happens here, let the clubs that are here as stakeholders decide, as it says. So if a certain percentage allows for the vote to go on, so be it.
Say that we can vote as long as I can hear a brief history, please.
Okay. We also read the bios today.
Now, it was quite interesting, wasn't it? Now, these are some of the members of the association. Now, for you to be a member of the association, most of the time, under the sports fraternity, you should have a club or you should be, doing something that is related to the association. So most of these are members of the association who have clubs. Now, the concerns that were raised, this is prior to the election process. These are some of the concerns. They are actually elaborating on issues of the constitution. They feel like, some of them, they feel like a constitution was not followed for the election process. They feel like there were issues of people just maybe making themselves available just for no reason. So they were complaining to say, should we vote if we don't have a constitution that is actually guiding us on how we should vote, or a voting process? Now, one thing you should also know is that prior to that, majority of those who were looking to be part of the elections, they have been actually served before in the executive, so they knew exactly. So, but a decision was taken later on to say, you know what, in as much as there is an issue of the constitution, she is talking about that. I'm concerned about the constitution. We haven't followed any proper, guidance in terms of following the constitution. But let's vote for God's sake, because we woke up on the day coming to the annual general meeting looking to vote a new president. So some of the things were based on that. Now, let's talk about him, the president, because he was eventually the president of the association. After those debates, they went on to vote, and after voting, he came out as the eventual winner. But one key word that he kept on highlighting: transparency. He wants to make sure that they work in a transparent manner. There's no issues of hiding. Nangabe gune international assignment, they should follow proper route to ensure that athletes are selected in the right way. Message it should cut across. He's got a new open door policy, where whenever he is doing something, it's open to the members of the association.
I think it'll take about 3 months for us to settle in, to call an extraordinary meeting to try and resolve some of the issues that we have seen la kulo mhlangano namuhla. Sikhulume tona leti ndzaba sitokhona kulungisa labakhale khona batali or my team managers, my team representatives. So I think in the next 3 months, because moving forward, we can't be coming back to the same issues, and we would like to focus on bettering the exec and bettering swimming in Swaziland. As I assume this new position as president, we're swimming Yarangwane, the biggest thing for me is about development of swimming in Swaziland, to get more kids involved, to promote the sport for kids in Swaziland to benefit from the sport as well. And yes, there has been issues which have been highlighted at our AGM, and I hope to work with the new executive team and resolve those issues, because the biggest one for me coming in is transparency for how we are going to handle swimming for swimming in Swaziland.
We know the future of the Eswatini Swimming Association. Pedro Nunes wants to make sure that everything is under the line. Otherwise, for me, before I leave you, maybe just to give you some heads up of what to expect as Eswatini Television Authority, one way to make sure that we meet you at the point of your need, we will be live here on Sunday during the 6th edition of the Imbobe Marathon. So the first 42 kilometers, when they leave 5:30 in the morning, right here in the studio, I'll be joined by different legends in the game, athletes, and we will make sure that we do give you the updates. So 5 in the morning, Eswatini TV will be live on your school channel, wherever you are, if you have the platform. And of course, if you do have your YouTube channel, if you use YouTube to get content from Eswatini TV, make sure that you tune in 5 in the morning. You can have your breakfast when you are actually watching what will be happening. The entire world will be watching this huge event that will be broadcasted for the 6th time on Eswatini TV, 6th time taking place, and going to make sure that we are part of the biggest event in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Now, before I let you go, maybe just to give you some heads up of what's happening in the country, just know that M10 Premier League will be entering day 4. We've got some of the biggest game this coming weekend. We've got the likes of Bavani Highlanders against Manzini Seabeds. It's back at Mavuso Sports Center. The two giants being Swallows and Highlanders are using the Mavuso Sports fraternity, so we can't wait for Saturday when the two teams use the facility. Other issues, of course, it's been trending on social media everywhere. What is the issue at hand is the issue of Manzini Wanderers. We can't wait to see when will it be resolved. We haven't had an answer as well, but we are hoping that we do hope that by the time we end this month, hopefully we will ensure that we have got the response pertaining to the issue of Manzini Wanderers. Other issues, of course, we will keep on touching on them as the year goes. But 2024 so far has been a highlight of what you can expect in the sports fraternity. So to tell you that also the English Premiership, of course, we are one of the stations that is giving you every Saturday the English Premiership whenever it comes to the content of the English Premiership. But when I tell you that Sunday, I can't wait. So we still have time for us, wherever you are as a viewer at home, to go get your goodie bags and ensure that you are part of the Imbobe Marathon. It's a big event. And the weather condition on the day, it is accommodating because, we can't wait. Now, it's time for me to love and leave you because I've been in my own company here, but I've been blessed to have some of the guests coming all the way from Eswatini National Provident Fund. We touched on the issue of the Imbobe Marathon. We had the swimming aspect, and we had, of course, the memorial service of the late Dr. Marvin Masango. Otherwise, for me, Fabrice Musonera, until we meet here Sunday at 5 in the morning, we are Zimos. We don't disappoint. Sidlara Gamnans.
The Deputy Prime Minister's Office, in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and its partners, bring you the Job and Entrepreneurship Expo for persons with disabilities under the theme Innovation for Inclusive Employment and Entrepreneurship. The expo gives opportunities to persons with disabilities to market their academic professions, business skills, and also empower